Hey guys, it's Riley, and today I'm going to be talking about the U.S. Postal Purge, hashtag Save the U.S. Postal Service. I chose this topic because I was scrolling on Twitter the other day, and I saw this come up, and it was pretty interesting because of all the jobs that are being taken off and all the people that are getting fired. The U.S. Postal Service is still going through and delivering all of our mail and all of our essentials, and they're risking their lives even through this whole pandemic of COVID-19. So I thought this would be a really good topic to talk about today. My thesis is in certain weather conditions like storms and snow, as well as unpredictable complications like the COVID-19 virus, the U.S. Postal Service is still making it out and working and getting people their packages to risking their own lives to make a living. Due to this worldwide pandemic, this crisis is hurting the foundation financially. And in my words, this is a form of structural functionalism. Due to the bill being passed, it shows that the U.S. Postal Service needed major help in this time of crisis. And now people are trying to buy out all the stamps, and they're trying to praise our mailman because the U.S. Postal Service really needs a lot of help, and they need a major bailout. This is one of the memes that I picked because even though the government says everyone needs to self-quarantine, the U.S. Postal Service is still going to be working every single day during this, and that's just because mail doesn't stop, and it's really something that they need to put precautions on because these people could be sick and we don't have any idea. They could be asymptomatic. So this is another meme that I thought was pretty good. The U.S. Postal Service, we deliver for you by any means possible, which is very true. Through rain, sleet, and snow, the U.S. Postal Service is always delivering on our mail on time. So the video that I chose, the first one is it's regarding the U.S. Postal Service, one of the ladies that has been working there for 20 years, and the procedure she has to go through now because of this.
This pandemic.
Workers at the
Sorry
Postal
about that.
Service are following stricter guidelines to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Max Rodriguez looks into the new safety measures.
I spoke to a mail carrier who says they've been busy delivering mail and packages, working more than 12 hours a day. But they say during this pandemic, people rely on them more than ever. Masks and gloves are worn inside USPS offices and on delivery routes. These are part of the new guidelines USPS workers follow to keep themselves and others healthy.
Especially I go to the shopping center, I put it on. And then I have that available. And then we also have gloves available, so we can go to gloves because it gets very dirty real quickly. So I always have a change in my pocket.
Adele has more than 20 years of experience delivering mail, but she is now having to keep her distance, at least 6 feet away from the folks she delivers to and is used to seeing daily.
Any accountable or certified mail, we let them know that, show them what it is, but we have authorization to sign it so they don't touch our scanners and or our pens.
At the Pearl City office, they keep a sanitation station with antibacterial wipes, hand sanitizer, gloves, and masks. At least one USPS worker tested positive for COVID-19. A spokesperson says the employee worked at a processing plant near the airport and had no contact with customers. So far, the CDC says there are no known cases of people catching COVID-19 by touching their mail. Meanwhile, Adele says her essential worker status is taking a whole new meaning during the coronavirus pandemic.
To know that we have that connection where we're actually bringing essential items to their house, that makes me feel like amazing. And then, for me, being able to still work, I have a lot of friends that lost their job, and I am so grateful.
And the USPS is reminding all of us to stay at least 6 feet away from the delivery vehicles. They say away from afar.
So as you can see, this lady has been working for over 20 years and she's never seen something like this. And it's gotten so bad to the point where she has to wear a different pair of gloves every time she drops off packages. She has to put on a new mask. She has to hand sanitize after every single thing she's touched. And like she explained, she looks forward to giving people their daily essentials. And during this COVID virus, it's actually delaying that. And people aren't able to get like the medications that they need to be mailed to them. And the second video I have is our president trying to tell us, our president telling us what to do during this whole pandemic, and it's pretty self-explanatory.
Enjoy your home. Stay. I would just say right now, we have to get this problem fixed, and then we'll get back into business really quick. We'll open up our country, we'll open up our society, the world will hopefully open up. We see areas of the world that haven't done well, and we see areas that are doing very well, and I would put us in the category of doing very well for a country so big. I think that I would recommend that they just enjoy their living room.
Yeah, so basically you should just be doing what like everybody else has been doing. Do your homework, enjoy your living room, enjoy time with your family, order food, support your local business, because a lot of these businesses are also, they're losing jobs and they're losing money. My related hashtags are hashtag buy stamps and hashtag vote by mail. And the USPS is taking such a big hit because for decades now, the USPS has had long financial problems, and they've only worsened since. As the amount of mail that pays the agency's bills, first class and marketing mail, it is withered during its worldwide pandemic, and as a result, and Trump's lack of loans for such things like essentials needing to be mailed, such as medicine and like toiletries and groceries and stuff like that, people aren't getting their essentials in time. And according to the Washington Post, the USPS needs an infusion of money, and President Trump has blocked potential emergency funding for that agency that employs around 600,000 workers, repeating instead a false claim that higher rates for internet shopping companies like Amazon, FedEx, and UPS would write the service budget. How can we help without putting ourselves at risk? So what I've been doing is limiting the amount of mail that I've been ordering because the more mail you get, the more germs that it can bring into your house. Buy more stamps, as it will only benefit the U.S. Postal Service and their revenue. Funding from Congress to give the USPS an infusion of cash would help them immensely due to the fact that they have already been in financial troubles for decades now, and a loan definitely would not help that. My opposing hashtags are Trump versus the USPS, fake president, and corrupt GOP. The guidelines that these workers have to follow by are when delivering mail, a worker is not supposed to interact or be less than 6 feet from anybody due to the virus that can be spread throughout the air. After each mail drop-off, the carrier must change gloves, sanitize their hands, and just to make sure that the disease won't spread to the next person. Every worker must wear a mask due to the fact that the government says it is mandatory whether you are interacting with somebody or not. Although these workers take much precaution every day, they are still putting themselves at risk just by going outside and doing their everyday job. What could possibly happen if the U.S. Postal Service goes down? In a statement that the U.S. Postal spokesman announced, the Postal Service appreciates the inclusion of limited emergency borrowing authority during this COVID-19 pandemic. However, the Postal Service remains concerned that this measure will be insufficient to enable the Postal Service to withstand the significant downturn in our business that could directly result from the pandemic. Under a worst-case scenario, such turndown could result as Postal Service having insufficient liquidity to continue their operations. In other words, the post office could soon run out of money, and this would ultimately end up in many employees getting laid off or fired. At this time, there's no worse time to lose your job, like especially right now. And my viewpoint is I believe the U.S. Postal Service needs a lot of funding, and I think they need an infusion of money. But what is more important is that these people are making it out of this pandemic alive and well. Although many people still have their jobs and others are losing theirs, I believe that these workers are should be on paid leave just because until this pandemic blows over, and so that they can be able to support their families and be able to actually quarantine themselves after the thousands of people they have just dropped off their mail to. And reasons why these workers can't get these benefits. So on Saturday, it was announced that President Trump was personally blocking all potential emergency funding. And according to other sources, Trump threatened to veto a version of a recently passed stimulus package that not only included $13 billion bailout for the U.S. Postal Service, he instead extended the agency to a $10 billion loan. And due to this coronavirus outbreak, they are estimating that the pandemic will only increase the Postal Service net worth operating loss by more than $22 billion over the next 18 months, which will only hinder the Postal Service even more. And then this is the image. These are the images of what they have to wear whenever they deliver their packages. And then opposing to the USPS, some people oppose that postal workers shouldn't stay home during this quarantine because some and many of their goods are being moved through the U.S. Postal Service, such as people's prescriptions, other goods, such as clothing and stuff. But that's all materialistic stuff. That's not something you very much need. And other goods that need to be transported through the mail for certain reasons, like not wanting to actually go to the pharmacy and picking it up yourself. So due to this, many people are choosing to get their medications through the mail to prevent from getting sick. At like the pharmacy or any busy places with a lot of people in it. And my summary is this pandemic is only going to last for so long. Once this is over, many people will be jobless in America, and not only losing jobs, but small family-owned businesses will be forced to shut down due to the fact that they can't get enough business. I believe that these workers should be getting the same benefits and beyond because of the fantastic work that they've been doing over the years, and the fact that these men and women are risking their lives to get their next paycheck. I also believe that once this pandemic is over, these people should be given a raise because for some of them delivering mail may be their only source of income. And then my question for you guys is, what is your input on this whole crisis? And do you think the U.S. Postal Service deserves to be on paid leave?